all, and welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining the channel again and supporting the channel and watching my videos. It does help me and motivates me to want to do more footage. I know my videos get a lot more attention from driving than talking, so today I want to do a combination, but today's combination is about a bit of driving, but how much does it actually cost to run a Lotus Emira? I've had the car now 7 months, maybe a little bit longer, and how much does it cost to run the car? I think I've got enough knowledge now just to talk about them elements because I've had the first service, I've taxed the vehicle, etc. So I know roughly what it's costing to run. The only thing I haven't had to replace yet is the tyres. However, I've got the prices of the tyres today to show you and put up on the video, to show you what the damage of purchasing tyres is as well. So I can show you that as well. So let's start with tax. So taxing these vehicles isn't actually too bad. This is the Emira 2-litre i4 2024 model, and the annual car tax on this is £600. I tend to do 6 months because I don't drive the car all year, so 6 months tax, and that's around £330, I think. Sometimes I do annual and claim it back. The annual tax on the vehicle is the same as the V6. The only difference is between the i4 and the V6 is the first year tax. So when you first tax the car, the cost that has to be lost within the cost of the vehicle for the first year is a massive difference. So when you first buy the i4, if you're buying it brand new, the i4 first year tax is £1,565-ish, which is not a nice figure, but it's a damn sight cheaper than the V6. If you're going to go and buy the V6 first year car tax is £2,605. So these costs have to be lost in the vehicle somewhere. So either the vehicle's got to be discounted, or you're paying that on top of your vehicle purchase. So that's the first element. Insurance on these actually isn't too bad. So say this is the i4, and the tax on the i4, go back to the insurance on the i4 is £360, around that figure. Don't get me wrong, I do have it on limited mileage. I think that's 6,000 a year through an Admiral multi-car policy, but that's how much I pay. So 51 years old, and I don't think that's too bad for insuring a super sports vehicle. So first service was done on this in Colchester Lotus around about 4 to 5 weeks ago. The car, when it went in for the service, had only done around 1,700, 1,800 miles, but the car was a year old, because anybody that watches my channel will know that this car I bought pre-registered with a massive discount and a really good deal. That video, by the way, is really worth watching, so look through my playlist to see what I paid for this car per month and what I paid for it. So the service for the vehicle with the VAT was £430. For a super sport car, that isn't bad. However, that was the first service, probably really basic oil check or change. They don't always change the oil nowadays, they sometimes analyse it. So that I didn't think was too bad. I would suggest maybe the next service, or when it's got some more miles on it, the services are going to be in the region probably about £600-ish, maybe £700. However, I don't actually think that's too bad compared to, you know, my daily BMW I drive. You know, that's up in the £550-600 mark for servicing, so I don't think that's too bad. Let's go to the tyres. The tyres are fairly large on this vehicle, especially on the rears. So the tyres on the rear of this vehicle are 295 30s ZR20s. They are Goodyear Eagle F1 Super Sports, because this is the sports model, and for the rear tyres on this vehicle, some pictures up, are 228 quid each. Bearing in mind though, I had to search a lot of places for these tyres. It did appear that places like Quick Fit, ATS and places like that don't actually keep these tyres in stock. So yeah, just be wary of that. The front tyres, weird, the front tyres got a different profile. Where the rear tyres were a profile of 30, the front tyres are a profile of a 35. So the front tyres are a 245 35 ZR20, and they're £210 each. So for the tyres for the vehicle, I suppose for the size of the tyres and the speed rating on the tyres, I don't actually think that's too bad. Again, in line with my BMW tyres really, so nothing drastically or too different there. So that's what I wanted to cover today really, and then just wanted to give people an idea that are looking at buying the i4 or the V6, just to indicate what it's going to cost to run the vehicle. And if we talk about fuel, which I've talked about in some of my other videos, fuel on the i4 actually is a lot better than I thought. Driving this on a run, if you're going to go for a tour somewhere or just a weekend away in the car, you can achieve up to about 45 plus to the gallon. So I don't think that's too bad. However, in town, in traffic, it is draining it down to the 20s, the 25s, but generally not too bad at all. You're going to get a good return on this car if you're going to take this car on a nice touring journey. And again, I've done a video on how much luggage you can get in this car, because it seems to be a common question. So that's my video to say to you, do you know what, owning a Lotus Emira, a £69,000 car, isn't actually that much to run. It's not a massive outlay to run against what you would pay for a supercar clutches, supercar tax, insurance, running, fuel, servicing. That's going to be astronomical for one of them cars. So I don't think this car at all is too bad to run. So to end this video, what I want to do is just, let's do the normal and let's just show you how well this vehicle goes. So I'm going to put it into sports mode, and then you'll hear the engine tone change, and let's go, let's show you what it's about. Like a little go-kart, and Lotus are known for their handling, but I have to say, I would go and test drive one of these cars, because the handling is astronomically brilliant. Let's go again. Oh, snaky. And you can probably hear, I don't know, I'm hoping you can hear the whine and the sucking and the whistling of that turbo, and the overrun rev match when you change down the gears as well is fantastic when you've got it in sports mode. So this car, as I've said time and time again, for the value, for the running costs, it's just amazing. Would I like to be driving a McLaren? Probably, but would I want to be paying costs for McLaren servicing, tax, insurance, everything else? No, I wouldn't. But one more boost then. As well when it changes gear, it's fantastic. Rev match, absolutely fantastic as well. So I'm going to call this to a close, but what I would like to highlight is that I don't know anybody watching my channel. You probably watch Mark McCann. I watch a lot of Mark McCann's videos. He's just bought a McLaren P1 and he's just taken it to the Isle of Man. And I didn't realise that the Isle of Man, there was one road with no speed limit. Now he's taken his P1 to the Isle of Man, and I believe on the no speed limit road he achieved 140 miles an hour. Now that P1 has got 900 horsepower plus boost button. I'm tempted and going to look into driving over to the Isle of Man, getting the ferry over there, trialling that road, and I want to see how close this Lotus can get to that speed he did on that road. So keep an eye out to see if I actually achieve to do that video. That's my mission for one of my videos in the next few months for sure. So keep an eye out, put notifications on, like my videos, subscribe and comment. This helps me, motivates me to carry on doing it. I don't get paid for this, I'm not sponsored. I just do it because I love the car and I want other people to understand how much I love the car and what the car looks like out on the road, what it feels like out on the road, and what it costs like out on the road. So thank you very much for tuning in again today to my channel. As I say again, so please subscribe, help me out, and I'll catch you again on the next video soon. See you soon.